Take whatever you want.
I'm gonna
That
take
one's-
this way.
Hi.
Hey.
So, what did you guys think? I can't remember exactly how old this film is, because chronologically I don't like to think like that, you know, because you remember maybe your own age.
You still look the same.
Thank you.
1978.
Well, you know, watching this film again, I've seen it a lot, but you know, it still like does everything a film is supposed to do. When, as an audience, we come and sit here and watch a film, it's supposed to get us involved. It's supposed to excite us. It's supposed to give us values. It's supposed to have content. And this film still, after all these years, still does it to me. And hopefully it did it to everybody here. At one time, I think there was a lot of films like this. We don't have too many like this anymore, but it would sure be great to have a bunch more like it. CGI is a cool thing, but it's hard for me personally to get involved in it, you know, to really put myself in that character's position, thinking I might really be doing what this guy's doing. But I mean, it all has its place, but I like the real deal myself. What do you think, Jax?
Let's start off with just questions about the film or just the stunt business in general. Anybody that wants to throw their hand up, we'll jump to you as quick as we can. I have a ton of questions. One of the first ones was when the actual smokestack fell. Was that timed like that? Because it really landed right behind the car, and that couldn't be faked. So I wanted to find out a little bit about that.
Again, it was really close. I'm going to be honest. I think we had some great lenses on the shot. It wasn't nearly as close as it appeared, but when you put the proper lens to capture a shot like that, it makes it look a lot closer. We all know that. But the way we set that stunt up is we had one of the best demo guys in the business at that time. He was the guy that put out all those Oklahoma oil well fires and all that. The guy was really the real deal. And so he told me, he said, you know, we're going to do some timing runs here, and we're going to set you back there, and we're going to just do timing runs to see at X amount of speed. If you do it exactly the same way every time, that I can figure out when we're going to hit the button and blow this stack. So, you know, we did about 10 timing runs, and per his instructions, I did it exactly the same way, the same speed every time. And he said, okay, that's cool. Just so you know, is when I hit the button, from the time I hit the button till the smokestacks hits the ground, it'll be exactly 6 seconds. So 6 seconds to me seemed like a pretty short amount of time, but I trusted this guy. We'd been working with him for months, and we've been on buildings that we jumped off of, 3-story brick buildings. By the time we jumped off, landed in our catcher, got in the car and started away, the 3-story building was on the ground, about 3 feet high. So the guy was really good. The only addition to all this is on the day, I didn't know that they were going to wet this road down on the way to the smokestack. So it was a little muddier than we had, than it was when we tested the run. So here we go. They say action. I take off. I'm probably about halfway to the smokestacks, right? And I see this, boom, this big explosion. I see this smoke go out at the bottom of it. And I see this thing start to do this, right? And I'm only like halfway there. And the first inclination I think that we all have as stunt people or anyone in this situation is you want to stomp the gas pedal. I mean, you just want to get everything you can out of it. But at the same time, you know, the minute that you hit the gas pedal, you're going to start losing traction because you're going to do this. And that's going to throw you off on the time that you're supposed to be there. So anyway, my cool head prevailed. I hung in there with the plan, and again, I was about 2/3 of the way there, and I see the top of the smokestack out of the top of the windshield do this, right? So now the top of the smokestack's fallen. This one is almost going to get me, and shoo, we're under it. Shot's over, and that was it. It was just like, to be doing it, looking back on it, it was unbelievable that I hung in there and didn't hit the brakes or do something silly. But it was quite an experience. One of the most interesting, well, yeah, I would put it up in my top 10 stunts.
Well, I also think
Just for excitement stuff. I mean, there wasn't much technique on my part other than just to do what they told me to do and have a kind of a nice set of brass ones.
or the guts to keep your foot in.
Some very little brain power, but at least it all worked out. I have to thank his name was Jim Redike. He was a unbelievable explosive guy, but he did a great job.
And it was a real smokestack, which in today's world, they do it in two pieces probably. They would never drop a real smokestack behind you that close.
Never.
But back then they didn't have the ability to do it, so Buddy Joe had to do it real.
And we had, there was just one smokestack, so it wasn't like take two or anything. And, looking back on it again too, I don't know what the thought process was in this whole setup of this thing, is where people thought, well, maybe this is going to work, maybe it isn't, but it's going to really look wild no matter what happens. And that was kind of maybe, I don't think Hal wanted me to get killed or anything like that, but he was kind of like that director in the movie. It was his movie, and he wanted everything perfect, and he wanted good stuff in it, and we were all there to do it for him. Hal was an amazing character. I'd known him from my very beginning days in the stunt world, and when you worked for Hal Needham, you went there to do your best. There was nothing you were going to do short of killing yourself to do what he wanted you to do. So, it never entered my mind that I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all about this right now. When he asked me to do something, we all did it and had a lot of respect for his talent and his wishes. And so, Hal, thanks.
Yep.
Woohoo!
All right, questions? Anybody, raise your hand. Over here on the right-hand side.